The petition is from residents of Mavivi Market of Machakos Central Ward of Machakos Sub-County, Machakos County. Honorable members, the petitioners draw the attention of the Assembly on the matter of removal of the wholesale market from Mavivi Market in Machakos Central Ward, which has negatively impacted them. The petitioners allege that they held a stakeholder meeting with a view of having the wholesale market returned to Mavivi Market. The petitioners are praying the Assembly to 1. Return the wholesale market to Mavivi Market. 2. Establish a livestock section at Mavivi Market. 3. Construct a slaughterhouse / abattoir within the market to cater for the new livestock market. 4. Publicize the reasons for the closure of the Mavivi Market and why public participation was not done. Honorable members, Standing Order number 200 provides that the Speaker may allow comments, observations, or clarifications in relation to a petition presented or reported, and such total time shall not exceed 30 minutes. Further, Standing Order number 201, Suborder 1, provides that every petition presented or reported pursuant to this part shall stand committed to the relevant sectoral committee. Before I commit it to the sectoral committee, is there any honorable member who would like to have a comment on this issue of the petition? Honorable Peter Joseph Motiso.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for leading us or taking us through that petition. Mine is that, members, you all know that that market started back 006. That was when that report was read sometimes back when we had municipal councils. And I remember very well that I'm the one who came up with that report so that we may have a market in that area, because that area is a prime area, and we need that area to grow up. And you know, members, it's only that the livestock market is at Masi and also Yani, which is very far from this area. And on this area, we have no market for livestock. And you know, members, in this area, we have a lot of cattle, whereby we need to buy livestock if possible. Now, what I can say is that the Committee of Trade sat down sometimes back and advised that we transfer people from market near Metumba area to that place. And what I can say is that we all agreed. But it was done politically. Because that time, the same people, through executive, they were the one who came up and transferred those people. And I remember that time, we were at Mombasa. The assembly was at Mombasa. Because I was not even aware about it, the public participation was done when I was not even present. But I supported that matter because we need that area to grow. Members, Mapepia, most of the people, the members here, I think they know where Mapepia is. When those people were transferred to that place, that development in that area were coming up. And also opening of roads, among other developments. But during the time of campaigns of senatorial seat, that is when our governor transferred those people back to where they were, back. But now, because it was done politically, I don't want to go back there. What I can say is that I will support what the members of the public are saying, because it will be also good for us. For example, if you go to Nairobi, there are so many markets in Nairobi city. Although it is just one region, but we can have as many markets here as we can. Because also Mutituni is growing up and it's also coming up. So we need that market to grow up, and I support the residents of that area. Although politically, members, if you don't know, it is a thorn issue. Because people from the market tend to build that, I'm the one who is transferring them there. But if you can go that area, the count of Machakos really invested heavily in that place. Because the World Bank Fund is the one which meant that market. And a lot of buildings and development were done. And that money is for all of us as Machakos County. It's not only for Machakos Central Ward. The money was for Machakos County. And we don't need to have white elephant development there. What we can do is that members, I really urge you to support so that that market can go back there. I don't care about how it will be in politics, because I will be a fool if I don't support that market in order to get votes. Although I know politicians, they don't want to hear that. But I better be a normal fella if I can't get votes because of that, than supporting that matter, or my people to stay there while there are a lot of problems. For example, and I know members, you are always in that market. There are retail market there and also wholesale market. And people of wholesale market, what they do is so funny. At the morning, they sell their goods to retailers. And afternoon, the same people are selling goods there as retailers. And that's also a problem. So, Mr. Speaker, I support that market my people to go back there. They will sell us, they go back there. And if you don't want to go back there, if you want to be a retail, you can go to the market and be a retailer. And definitely that area will grow up, and also this market will grow up. So, Mr. Speaker, I support that petition. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Thomas Mutinda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. My name is Thomas Mutinda, representing Wamonyo Ward, and I support the petition, Mr. Speaker, because when you see the current situation in Machakos town down there, you find that, Mr. Speaker, you go there and find there's some sort of traffic jam, because the market is there and the other one, the retail market, is there. So I think in order to decongest this town so that there's a good traffic flow, it's important that that market is returned to Mavivie. And also, Mr. Speaker, sometimes we have to ask ourselves, when it was being constructed, what was the objectives of the government or the public? What was it intended to do? Because that's a prime area, and we cannot continue having projects where government invests in a place and you don't see people getting any value for money. We cannot have a project like that where very soon you'll find vandalism going on. Because for the government to invest there is the opportunity cost. Somewhere else might have been given that opportunity so that another place develops like Wamonyo. But that place was considered and that was done. So in future, when we go to ask to be given such support from either World Bank or wherever, and we get the question, how are you going on with the Mavivie market? It shuts us down that we cannot be given any more funding, and I think it's important that it is put in use so that our people up there are working, and also those who are working in between the Mavivie market and the retailers, the Mekokoteni guys there, who used to move the produce from that place to the town, lost jobs because when it's so close, they will not gain any money. So that area, that market should be returned there, and we know that the town will be growing also going that way, so that even to access the place is easier. So, Mr. Speaker, I support and say that whenever government has resources or projects put somewhere, then they should be put in use immediately, because it's taxpayers' money and people want to see their money working for them. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Justice Katumo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise just to give my contribution to this petition and the prayers they are in by the residents of Mavivia. I remember some time back when I used to pass through Mavivia, the roads were so rough, we are so in bad condition, and it was a dead town. But when I visited some time back last year, that town was roomy, there was a lot of business, there was a lot of life. But I had two people in businesses at Mavivia. But when that roadside decision was amended by the governor during the senatorial politics, then they had to close shop and move away. But when you look at it in general terms, that you find we cannot say that we are progressive, and then we make two retrogressive steps backwards in terms of making decisions that have some adverse effects. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, it has been very difficult to move from this side of Kiamba Mall towards that side of Sokoni. There is a lot of jam. You find there are people who are putting their wares. Actually, it has become congested. I thought the policy was to decongest Machakos, make it beautiful, and make it clean. That, I think, was the general policy, where we have a market in a secure place, and to make sure that Machakos is the place to be. But when you go around, it has become a town. It has become a lot of congestion. You find a mukokoteni here, a tuk-tuk here, another thing here, and it becomes very difficult. I think going forward, we should discourage that era of just pronouncing things for the sake of just getting votes. Politically unsound decisions is what is costing us and taking us back. And I think those decision makers, those people who matter somewhere there, they should also be taught. I think this assembly is assembly of procedure. When things are done procedurally, then of course there's a cost to pay. And I think I support the area MCA in terms of that market should be there, not back here in town where there's no space, where there are no facilities. That when you go to that market, you find there are proper toilets, there is space. Even during this time of Corona, there is a cause for worry. And therefore, I support those sentiments. And I think the people of Mavivia should receive and be granted the justice that they are asking for. And I support. Thank you.
Honorable Mweni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Bendeta Mweni Musyoka, nominated by Wiper. I support the people to go back to Mabibie because those are money for taxpayers and they are being misused. And when they come to town, even you cannot step in the town because of the people being so many. And even if people are buying their things at Kasebe when they are going on their way to Kitui. So it's better, and it's very bad. The people who ask for this seat, and they go to people and they pronounce this being done like this, which is very unfair. And we have an assembly. Yet to write a letter to the assembly and ask whether it's possible or what. We are the ones who to say what is to be done in Machakos. Even you could have wrote to you, Mr. Speaker, because you are area MCA from there, and being give the disadvantages and the advantages of removing the market from that place. So the people we elect nowadays, we have to know their knowledge, where it reaches. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I think this is just a petition, honorable members, and I just wanted one or two comments so we can go on with the actual business of the House. I see members still want to continue on this. It was just, I just opened it for a while. Honorable Honorable Dominic, 1 minute, please. Then we give Honorable Minority Leader after you finish.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Dominic Nambuki, MCA Kathiani Central Ward. Honorable Speaker, the major aim of devolving functions is to decentralize economy. And the biggest objective why the county government of Machakos created a marketplace at Mavivie for the wholesalers is so that we can devolve some functions, we can take some amenities down to other markets. We decongest Machakos town and ensure that other upcoming towns also get a share of the resources. So, Mr. Speaker, that was the aim of having Mavivie market where it is placed and moving traders from Machakos town to the Mavivie market. While I support that, Mr. Speaker, I will say that as the market, as the wholesalers are moved back to Mavivie, it is also incumbent upon the executive to ensure that they make the roads leading to that market possible and ensure that amenities like restrooms are working so that when our people go there to trade, they can access all those things in one place. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minority Leader.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'm Alex Kamitro, Leader of Minority in this Honorable House and MCA Talawad. In a summary, Honorable Speaker, the petition is well stated because the members of that area, the electorate of that area, have put a petition, and the work of the assembly is to hear the voice of the Mwananchi. And again, on a frank note, it's also what Honorable Dominica said. Devolution takes service delivery closest to the electorate. So, in summary, as I said, it is very important. Us as an assembly, we should go and support the petition as it clearly states the importance of that market to the electorate and to the neighboring people who are near Mavivie market. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Alex Kamito. In this regard, this petition is hereby committed to the Trade and Economic Planning Committee, and the committee has 14 calendar days to consider and table a report on this petition pursuant to Standing Order number 201, Suborder 2. So let the Committee on Trade and Economic Planning look at this petition carefully. It's an item which also is dear to me because it's Mavivie market. That is where we all grew up going. Some of us, it was the only town we knew to visit on Christmas Day when we were young. We could not get to town. Mavivie was a Nairobi of our days. And the investment which has been put there, as the Honorable Member for Machakos Central Ward has said, is a huge investment by the World Bank to the tunes of tens of millions of putting a facility there. And then with you utilize it well by putting a market there. And then you move away the market again and bring it back to a congested area and leave empty buildings. That can even lead to not attracting foreign investment and donor assistance into our county, because if they are going to be giving us donations to put up facilities and we do not invest in those facilities once they are put up, then we'll be distracting them from coming to us. So let the committee work on that, and within 14 days, submit a report before this Honorable House. Thank you very much. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 5, petitions, papers.
Proceed.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Proceed.
Order number 7, statements.
Proceed.
Order number 8, motion, approval of report of the Labor, Public Service, and ICT Committee on the annual accomplishment of the Machakos County Public Service Board in the calendar year 2020.
Thank you. Under this order number, We have one business. I think it will be transacted by Honorable Margaret on behalf of the Honorable Chair. So Honorable Margaret, please go ahead and execute the business.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Margaret, holding brief for the chairman of Committee on Labor, Public Service and ICT, Honorable Francis Kalumu. Honorable Speaker, that aware of the County Assembly's oversight function is one of the cornerstones of democracy. Aware that oversight is a means for holding the county executive accountable for its actions and for ensuring that it implements policies in accordance with the laws and the budget passed by the County Assembly. Honorable Speaker, acknowledging that Article 183(3) of the Constitution of Kenya, 2010, provides that the County Executive Committee shall provide the County Assembly with full and regular reports on matters relating to the county. Further aware that Article 185(3) states that the County Assembly, while respecting the principle of separation of powers, may exercise oversight over the County Executive Committee and any other county executive organs. Honorable Speaker, cognizant of the fact that Standing Order number 195B mandates sectoral committees to study the program and the policy objectives of the departments and the effectiveness of the implementation. Aware that the Committee on Labor, Public Service and ICT is mandated to oversee all matters relating to labor, trade relations, manpower or human resource planning, information communication and technology. The committee received an annual report 2020 from the County Public Service Board for the year 2020. Engaged the chair, County Public Service Board, and compiled a report. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move the motion that this Honorable House discusses and approves the report of the Labor, Public Service and ICT Committee on the annual accomplishments of the Machakos County Public Service Board in the calendar year 2020. Honorable Speaker, I ask Honorable Justice Katumo to second my motion. Thank you.
Honorable Justice Katumo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I second.
Thank you, Honorable Justice. Honorable Margaret, you may read the report. And you may go straight to start on the composition of the committee composition, and then you go to matter under consideration. Start with 1.3, then you go to 3.0.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I go to 1.3, the committee composition. Honorable Speaker, the committee is currently constituted as 13 members as follows. Honorable Francis Kalumu, Chairperson. Honorable Margaret Bivi, Vice Chair. Honorable Alex Kamitu. Honorable Irene Bivia. Honorable Constance Bula Zioki. Honorable Frederick Mundoka. Honorable Justice Katumo. Honorable Nicholas Mutuku, Honorable Paul Nancy, Honorable Anastasia Mutuku, Honorable Rosina Kanini, Honorable Alice Zioka, and Honorable Eric Musembi as members. (3.0) Matter under consideration. Honorable Speaker, the County Public Service Board is a body corporate established under Section 57 of the County Government Act, CGA 2012. The board derives its functions and the powers from Section 59(1), which mandates it to A, establish and abolish offices in the county public service. B, appoint persons to hold or act in offices of the county public service, including the boards of cities and urban areas within the county, and to confirm appointments. C, exercise disciplinary control over and remove persons holding or acting in those offices as provided under this part. D, prepare regular reports for submission to the County Assembly on the execution of the functions of the board. E, promote in the county public service the values and the principles revered to in Articles 10 and 232 of the Constitution of Kenya, COK 2010. F, evaluate and report, evaluate and report to the executive, to the County Assembly on the extent to which the values and principles referred to in Articles 10 and 233 are compiled within the county public service. G, facilitate the development of coherent, integrated human resource planning and budgeting for the personnel emoluments in counties. H, advise the county government on human resource management and development. I, advise county government on implementation and monitoring of the national performance management system in counties. J, make recommendations to the Salaries and Remunerations Commission on behalf of the county government on the remuneration, pensions, and gratuities for the county public service employees. Honorable Speaker, the composition of the board. Honorable members can just, Honorable Speaker, the Machakos County Public Service Board recommended, the board composition is actually, there is a chart there. I think the honorable members can just go through it as we go to 3.3.
I think just read the board, the name of the board. I think it's important for them to be captured by the answer.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Then table 1, board composition. There are 3 columns. One is opposition, the next is name, and the third is committee headed. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, chairperson is Mr. George Kioko Luka, who is the chair of the board. Vice chair, Mrs. Cecilia Mbinya Sereka, vice chair of the board. Member, Mr. Franklin Musila Makola, member of the board and head of the career progression and complement control. Member Mrs. Tera Maris N. Mudhoka, member of the board and the head of recruitment and selection. Mr. John Kimeu Kumbu, member of the board and head of audit, assurance and compliance. Dr. Jane Mutheu Mutune, who is a member of the board and head of finance and procurement. CS Onesimus Mutisia, who is the secretary and CEO to the board and head of the secretariat. The board's operations are supported by a secretariat headed by the board secretary comprising of 21 secretariat staff. Sir Speaker, 3.21 board committees. The board operates in 4 committees as outlined in the table below. Table 2, functions of the committees. Number 1, career, progression, and complement control. Number 2, recruitment and selection. Number 3, audit, assurance, and compliance. Number 4, finance and administration. Sir Speaker, I go to 3.3, which are the accomplishments in the year 2020. 3.1, career progression and complement control committee. The following were recommended. The board renewed, Mr. Speaker, the board renewed 2,300 contracts for the variant committee departments. If you'll allow, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, the table is there, honorable
the table
members.
Is there.
You see the total. So the total is 2,300. Go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Then 3.33, promotions. The board approved promotions 656 officers who had appraised and recommended by their departmental human resource management and advisory committees, as per the table below. Sir Speaker, if you will allow, I proceed to confirmation and in appointment. The board confirmed a total of 296 officers who had successfully completed their probation and had been appraised and recommended by their departmental human resource management and advisory committee. Mr. Speaker, there is a table for the confirmed appointments who are 296, and the members can actually peruse the table. Honorable Speaker, 4.0 is the committee findings. Honorable Speaker, based on an area interrogation done to the chair, County Public Service Board, the committee found out the following. Number 1, the proposed total budget for County Public Service Board in the year FY 2020-2021 was Kenya shillings 47,882,382 shillings, which comprised of 1, recurrent expenditure, Kenya shillings 41,682,382 shillings. Number 2, development expenditure, which is Kenya shillings 6,200,000 Kenya shillings. This was too minimal and I could barely meet the board's operations. A request had been earlier made for Kenya shillings 30 million for construction of an office block, Kenya shillings 21 million for the purchase of vehicles for the commissioners, Kenya shillings 2 million for purchase of printers and ICT equipment. Number 2, some officers were earning various allowances 56 officers earning extraneous allowances, which include 24 from the County Public Service Board, 5 earning responsibility allowances, 4 earning special duty allowance, and 1 earning acting allowance. The committee requested for further details for interrogation to check whether the said allowances are in compliance with the conditions stipulated in the Human Resource Manual, as well as the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, SRC, on payment of salaries and allowances. Number 3, the job groups were captured for every staff in the county from job group A to job group U, and from salary scale 7 to salary scale 18 respectively. 239 staff do not have their job groups. Number 4, 192 employees are aged 60 years and above. Considering age analysis for all county staff, details are their departments. Sorry, Mr. Speaker, I repeat, number 4. 192 employees are aged over 60 years and above. Considering age analysis for all county staff, details on their department and the designation were not provided, as well as their terms of engagement. Number 5, the board was unable to undertake a comprehensive staff audit due to lack of adequate funding. The board therefore requests for funds to conduct a comprehensive staff audit as summarized below. Mr. Speaker, number 1 was field work data collection, 4.6 million. Number 2, data entry and verification, 585,000. Number 3, data analysis, 292,500 shillings. Payroll cleansing, 292,500 Kenya shillings. Number 5, report writing, 3,709,000. Number 6, airtime, 96,500 shillings. Number 7, miscellaneous items, 210,000. Number 8, general administration, 86,500. Number 9, fuel, 1,400,000. Number 10, stationery, 138,974, which totaled to 11,424,974. The committee requests the House to consider allocating the above-mentioned budget during budget-making process to cater for an independent staff audit and ascertain that the actual number of county employees, check any staffing gaps, and whether employees are employed on need basis. Chances of overstaffing or possible existence of ghost workers. The current budget estimates for the board in the financial year 2021 to 2022 are 1. Recurrent expenditure, Kenya shillings 39,763,200 shillings. Number 2, development expenditure, Kenya shillings 10 million. Note that the above recurrent expenditure is planned for operational expenses only, hence it cannot roll out a comprehensive staff audit. Number 6, the Department of Health and Emergency Services reported a higher number of employee renewal, confirmation in appointment, and promotions, unlike other departments. The said department was reportedly hiring casual workers without the approval of the County Public Service Board, which has the mandate to approve and requests for employment. Mr. Speaker, I beg to repeat number 6. The Department of Health and Emergency Services reported a higher number of employees renewal, confirmation in appointment and promotions, unlike other departments. The said department was reportedly hiring casual workers without the approval of the County Public Service Board, which has the mandate to approve any request for employment. Number 7, it was noted that the board had been requesting for county payroll scrutiny. The request was yet to be honored and was due for the last 12 months. Number 8, contracts for 2,300 employees were renewed beyond a period of 3 years across the departments. The Human Resource Policies and Procedures Manual stipulated that contract appointments shall be limited to a maximum period of 3 years. Any contract should be renewable, subject to demonstrable performance and other terms of contract. I go to number 9, Mr. Speaker. 82 employees were duplicated in different departments. The committee could not understand and was concerned how such duplication occurred, indicating that it may imply possible duplication in the payroll and multiple salary payments. Number 4.1, discussion with the chief officer. Mr. Speaker, Article 195(1) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 stipulates that a county assembly or any of its committees has power to summon any person to appear before it for the purpose of giving evidence or providing information. Section 39(2) of the County Government Act 2012 states that a committee of the county assembly may require a member of the executive committee to A, attend or appear before the committee, and B, answer any questions relating to the members' responsibilities. Further, 18(1) of the County Assembly's Powers and Privileges Act 2017 states that a county assembly or its committees may invite or summon any person to appear before it for the purpose of giving evidence or providing any information, paper, book, record, or document in the possession or under the control of that person, and in this respect, a county assembly and its committees shall have the same powers of the High Court as specified under Article 195 of the Constitution. The committee forwarded a questionnaire to the Chair, County Public Service Board, on the annual report 2020 on 26 July 2021. The committee received the responses and found out the following. Number 1, it was established that employment contracts are initiated at the departmental level through recommendations from Human Resource Office in the respective departments, will justify to the board any renewals, confirmation in appointments, and promotions of staff in their departments. Number 2, the board considered renewal of employees' contracts due to the fact that the cabinet had not yet approved filling of vacant positions permanently. Number 3, promotions were considered for officers due for promotion in various departments in consultation to the respective departments, human resource management, and advisory committees. The promotions fell under 2 categories. Common cadre for officers who have served for a minimum period of 3 years, met all other requirements as per the relevant scheme of service subject to availability of vacancy and a budget. Competitive positions filled through promotional interview. Number 4, it was indicated that promotions, confirmation in appointment, redesignation, and upgrading of officers were based on merit in reference to procedures stipulated in the career progression. Guidelines and advice from respective departmental human resource management and advisory committees. Number 5, there were 4 officers who earn special duty allowance since they are called upon to perform duties of a higher post, but do not possess necessary qualifications for appointment to that particular post. A request was made to forward the final details with justification for the said allowance. Number 6, the board approved appointments of 76 health workers. Some of the officers under UHC intern did not take up the appointed position as shown below. Mr. Speaker, there is a chart, and the total of those interns who did not take up their position, there is a total of 79, 50, and 26.
So 79 were the total. The number of officers who took up were 50. Those who did not take up were 26.
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Speaker. I proceed. They were offered a consolidated salary by the national government as shown below. Cadre, service number, cadre, and amount. Service number 1, certificate holders were awarded 10,000 per month. Number 2, diploma holders, 15,000. Degree holders were awarded 25,000 per month. Number 4, on duplication of 82 employees, it was responded that this was an error since the referred officers were transferred, but their details captured in both departments. Number 5, the committee was concerned that some employees had served the county over a long period during the defunct county council and ought to have been prioritized to get appointment letters on permanent and pensioned board terms. However, the board gave out conditions to be considered for absorption by the county, that an employee should have a good conduct, be below 50 years, and provide his or her performance reports from the department. So, Speaker, I got to 5.0, which are committee observations. Honorable Speaker, based on the reports, discussions with the chair, County Public Service Board, the committee observed the following. 1, the board has been operating in rented premises since its inception, despite the fact that in the financial year 2019-2020 budget, Kenya shillings 10 million had been appropriated for the construction of an office block for the County Public Service Board. The funds were further reappropriated during the supplementary budget in the following manner. Kenya shillings 2.9 million to Department of Health and Kenya shillings 7.1 million to the emergency fund. Hence, the board was not able to construct the office block owing to the court cases and rulings. Number 2, the board does not have an organizational structure, and that shows hierarchy for the county government organs. That shows hierarchy, sorry. Number 3, the county wage bill is very high, hence the county is using too much budget on recurrent than development. Number 4, there is no periodic staff audit and an efficient system for administering and monitoring all county employees from possible existence of ghost workers. Possible duplication of staff across various departments is an indicator of poor employee monitoring and evaluation. Number 5, the following departments were reportedly understaffed. A, agriculture and cooperatives, which was devolved from the national government. Number B, finance and revenue. Number C, decentralized units. 6.0, committee's recommendations. Honorable Speaker, this committee hereby makes the following recommendations. Number 1, the board should be well facilitated with an adequate budget for carrying out its mandate at ease. There is an urgent need for the comprehensive staff audit as justified in the proposal. Number 2, allowances should be administered in strict adherence to the conditions stipulated in the Human Resource Manual, as well as the Salaries and Remunerations Commission, SRC. Number 3, the county government should adhere to the provisions of Human Resource Policies and the Procedures Manual for the Public Service 2016 D21, which indicates that all officers shall retire from the service on attaining the mandatory retirement age of 60 years, 65 for persons with disabilities, and or as may be prescribed by the governments from time to time. Number 4, there is a need to follow up and cross-check details of employees who were confirmed in appointment, promoted, contracts renewed, and upgrade, as well as interrogate the existing county payroll for the county to check whether appointments were done in compliance to the Employment Act 2007. Number 5, to effectively manage the huge database, the board needs an elaborate system that efficiently manages its applications. This may be through acquisition of a county integrated portal and large capacity servers. Number 6, adhere to the 60 years retirement rule and the board decision that the county should stop any extension of contracts for employees above 60 years, ensure that all chief officers do not extend contracts for employees, those who attain 60 years, to retire as usual. Number 7, renewal of contract appointment beyond a period of 3 years should not be encouraged to help curb the county's ballooning wage bill, pursuant to Human Resource Policies and Procedures Manual for the Public Service 2016, Section B24, which indicates that contract appointments shall be limited to a maximum period of 3 years. Any contract should be renewable, subject to demonstrable performance and other terms of the contract. Number 8, the board should follow up and consider absorption of employees who have served in the defunct county council to help them get appointment letters on permanent and pensionable terms. Number 9, the county consolidated payroll, which should be properly cross-examined to identify possible chances of ghost workers or duplication of staff under different departments, which results in multiple payment of salaries. Number 10, the county should consider prioritizing engagement of persons with disabilities as per the provision of Article 54(2) of the Constitution of Kenya, which states that at least 5% of the members of the public's in elective and appointive bodies are PWDs. This should be across all cadres. Mr. Speaker, I go to 7.0, which is conclusion and acknowledgement. Honorable Speaker, allow me to thank the County Public Service Board for submitting the annual report 2020. I wish to appreciate the committee members for their dedication during interrogations, committee sittings, and compiling of this report. Honorable Speaker, the committee is also grateful. The committee is also grateful to the Office of the Speaker and that of the Clerk to the County Assembly for their continuous and relentless support received as it discharged its oversight mandate. It is therefore my duty on behalf of the Committee on Labor, Public Service and ICT to table this report and recommend it to the Honorable House for consideration and adoption. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Margaret Mwikali. I now propose the question that this Honorable House discuss and approves the report of the Labour, Public Service and ICT Committee on the annual accomplishments of the Machakos County Public Service Board in the calendar year 2020. Honorable members, you may comment on the report. Honorable Justice Katumo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity to offer my input in regard to this report by Labour Committee. I want to applaud the committee, the chair, and even for Honorable Margaret Mwikali, who read this intensive report on the same. But I would wish to say that going into this report, I also applaud the current board members and especially the chair. They have been very friendly to this committee, and that's why we are able to, as a member of this committee, we are able to have a report that is elaborate. I want, in summary, to say that there are things that are very important in this county, and the challenges and the issues that have compounded the County Public Service Board, and by extension, the workmanship or workforce of Machakos is very great and has been of great concern to this assembly. In two fronts. One, we have had Ambaluni wage bill, but with such, the County Public Service Board has not been able to carry out an audit to determine where the problem is. Secondly, we have found that we have issues of our employees and officers whom we cannot determine where they belong, and therefore we have ghost workers to say. And therefore, it has not been possible by the County Public Service Board for this body to tell us who is the ghost worker or what is happening. And therefore, we find ourselves in a dilemma, not being able to explicitly say what is the problem. But I want to say this board has suffered because of it being starved of finance. And secondly, when we give them budget, then they don't receive the money to implement what they are supposed to do. And you find that we have been giving them money to construct their offices since 2015. And this has not been possible because the money does not find the way into their account. But most important, I found in this whole interrogation and in terms of bringing out this report, is that we have a lot of inconsistencies in our employees. In terms of, we might find we have 2 employees serving 2 departments as per the records. That we have somebody X in Department of Labor, the same person is serving in Department of Health. Some have similar salaries when you look at the payroll, but others have different salaries, which tells us that the audit has not been carried out, and this inconsistency and the variance is not very good for us. Then we also found, going beyond that, we have around 100 to close to 200 employees who have over 60 years, when we have so much of our youth unemployed, and there are no reason given to why they should go beyond those years. And this is it is not very good. More than 100, actually it was 184, something like that, employees who have 60 years, and they are on those higher cadres, job group, which means they are earning a lot of money out of this county. And therefore, the particular board could not give us reasons where they are retaining and they are extending the contract of these employees who are far beyond the age that they are supposed to work. Then, Honorable Speaker, there are other issues that you will find in this. We have found that even in the Department of Health, the chief officer and the minister, the CCM, would engage casual workers without any. You find that we have issues with certain employees, especially from the de facto authorities, where up to now, from 2013, they have not been given appointment letters in terms on that status of being permanent and pensionable. And you look at the conditions that they were given by the board, that you must produce good conduct, this funny. And then we were wondering, how do you tell your employee, again, as if you are employing them afresh, to give good conduct? And I think that is not very good. Then, Honorable Speaker, because I'm of this committee, I don't want to say, but you also find, when you look at the structure, I think it's very disorganized. And of course, they have accepted that you cannot tell who fits where, who qualifies for that particular. You find we have directors who have no degrees. I don't meet the threshold. We have other people who occupy offices, and they cannot explain because they have not carried out the audit, and it becomes very funny. Then when you come to my constituency, Honorable Speaker, then when we ask them to tell us why they have ignored and they are not following the provisions of the law, they are telling us, we don't know, we have to carry out. You see, and therefore we find, unless we stamp our feet, this county will go to donks. We will be paying a lot of salaries to people who don't exist, to ghost workers, pay workers twice, and then, of course, when you ask and you want to get a report out of it, then there is nobody who will give. But I would wish that, because I said we have a friendly board chair, if we are able to give them a budget, and then we are able to interrogate the results, the outcome of the same. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Thank you. Honorable Moses Mita.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, for the opportunity also to air my contribution towards this report. I first want to applaud the committee for the good job they have done. I want to thank my senior colleague, Honorable Margaret Mwekali, for taking us through the report. Honorable Chair, on behalf of the chairman of the committee. Honorable Chair, I think mine is much of what I would have contributed as being captured by Honorable Katumo, but I would not fail to appreciate the board for at least giving a report to this Honorable House, Honorable Chair. The previous board, which was there, could not provide such reports. And I think, Honorable Chair, the signs are that the board is somehow independent, and the board members might be now taking the right route of ensuring that this county, especially on matters related to workforce, bloated wages and ghost workers, Honorable Chair, I believe we might be heading somewhere, Honorable Chair. What I would plead with the Labour Committee is to work with this board, Honorable Chair. Let the committee protect the board from the executive, because mostly, Honorable Chair, you know, the executive would not want some reports to reach this Honorable House. And I believe now that the board is showing signs of giving information to this assembly, and the information which will be now important in solving the problem which has been eating into our resources, Honorable Chair, I believe it's the right time now we protect the board, we ensure the budgets are well taken care of, they are not diverted, Honorable Chair, and it's the budget which is meant to go to the service board is fully utilized by the service board, because there are no signs that they were not able to utilize the funds. It's only that the funds were diverted by the executive, Honorable Chair. So mine is to plead with the committee once more, and I also want to plead with this Honorable House, we protect this board and ensure that they work under the right environment so that we get to an answer of the problem which has been eating into our resources. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Robert.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for also giving me time to also make my contribution. I also want to start by thanking the Committee on Labour for bringing such a report, which was read by Honorable Margaret through the chair. Mr. Speaker, as the others have said, I also want to give hand to this committee because of bringing such a good report. You remember we have had problems with the board. We have been asking reports from the board, and there was no time we got such a report. Mr. Speaker, first of all, as highlighted, as observed, and as recommended by the committee, they requested, or they were given a budget of 10 million to construct their offices, and we have seen that that money was diverted to other projects. I would say it is good when we budget for money to go and do that specific duty they have been allocated for. Such a board which is doing good job should also be commended, should also be compensated by also giving them what they want to encourage them. Mr. Speaker, we have been also talking of the big wage bill the committee has highlighted. And we have been saying that the salaries, the overstaffing is consuming even money money which should be do our projects. So the board has observed that because we have been, the salaries have been taking everything, and we have seen, which it has been reported by the committee, that most of the money pays salaries, and that is why we don't get our projects done. So I want to commend the committee for also giving us that. There is also a lack of structure. And in an organization where there is lack of structure, you can't know who is who, you can't know who is doing what. And that's why we have seen some departments do not have staff, others are overstaffed, and so forth. So it is very important the committee and the board be questioned to bring us a structure so that we can also get to know the organization chart. Mr. Speaker, let's also go to the point which was noted about 60 years. When you are 60, most of them are retained back and they don't go home, whereby I think it's a law when you attain 60, you retire. Even renewal of contracts was also mentioned. Mr. Speaker, those are some of the things which might be consuming money, which is meant to go for, for development. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that this board has really brought to us a very good report, whereby we should commend them, we should encourage them, and then we should always be getting report from them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Thomas Mutinda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Thomas Mutinda, representing Wamonyo Ward. Mr. Speaker, I want to support the report and thank the chairman, the chairperson, and the committee for this good report, and say that, Mr. Speaker, I remember we left when the board sometimes could not even identify the number of staff it had. But this time around, Mr. Speaker, I think we can say there is an improvement that it's able to identify some of these things, these issues. However, Mr. Speaker, I think it is important that it should have been captured that whether they have a strategic plan and such, so that we may see the vision and the mission and their core values to see where this board wants and intends to go. Mr. Speaker, there is the issue of the training needs assessment, which have not been highlighted in this report, because I have heard somewhere where some, Mr. Speaker, where some staff have been acting, and even with gaps, education gaps, where it's like they are not qualified. And again, you don't see the training needs identified in the report, which ensure that there's a gap which needs to be filled. So, Mr. Speaker, some of these reports should be coming to this house. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, the report is good, but also a lot has to be done. There's this issue of these staff who are contract staff serving on these defunct local government functions. I would wish they are in every ward, in every market, and I wish I wish they would be employed, because they are there, they are on contract, and every time they renew their contracts, either 3 years, and I don't know the welfare which they conduct or the safety on their jobs, because I don't know whether they are insured. I don't know whether they ever get trained. I don't know if they get injured in our jobs, will it be a case to the county government, or there is an insurance taking care of them, so that in any eventuality the insurance can indemnify the people? Because there's this Work Injury Benefits Act, which states that in case you are working somewhere and you get injured, then there should be an insurance which stands in on behalf of the organization. So those are things which should be taken care of, so that we try to lessen the burden to this county government, so that a fee is paid and they can offer services and feel that they are working. The other thing is on the Department of Agriculture. Mr. Speaker, you come to realize that in agriculture, there is a very big shortage. And when we talk of agriculture, it's the backbone of our country, and again, the backbone of our county. Now, there are all shortages. So I think there should be a way of trying to harmonize. Much as we have our staff percentage of personnel emolument going up, we should see to it that every department also has the minimum to support the services required by our people. So, Mr. Speaker, I think it's important that we support the board and also ask ourselves, if I may ask, where is the board placed? Because I've heard where CECs are doing the functions of the board. And it's important for this house to know where the board is placed. Or is the board reporting to? Is it reporting to His Excellency? Or it's reporting to a CEO, the CEO Labor? Or it's reporting to the CEC? Because the placing of the board will try to minimize some of these problems, where you find the board is working on some part and the CEC or the department is also working on the other part. So there should be the knowledge that this is the level of the board, so that, and these are the functions, and also try to have minimum duplications, if any. Otherwise, I support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. May the mover of the motion respond, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and the House. As I appreciate the members so much for serious debate and contributions to our motion, I wish to ask, because you know any organization without a vibrant human resource department is blind and it cannot prosper. If, as members and as county assembly, we support our board and protect its work, I'm very sure talking about ghost workers, talking about ballooning wage bill will be a story of the past. Members, I propose and I pray that this House passes this motion to enable the board now do it and carry out its mandate without any fear or without any doubt. And if we do so, I can assure you, on behalf of this committee, that our county will now be soaring very high in terms of its economic value and in terms of its progress. Therefore, I thank you, Honorable Speaker and Honorable House, and request that we pass this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Margaret. I now put the question that this Honorable House discusses and approves the report of the Labour, Public Service and ICT Committee on the annual accomplishments of the Machakos County Public Service Board in the calendar year 2020. As many as other opinions say ayes.
Ayes.
As many as the contrary opinions say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, I just want to make one comment, brief comment, on the issues which have been raised, and I think they're important issues. We've talked about 192 employees, that's 200 employees above 60 years in our payroll. That can mean every honorable member providing 5 employees from their ward to get employment without increasing on any overhead. Actually, the net effect will be a reduction in the overhead, because like Honorable Justice Katumo said, those who have attained the age of 60 are the top brackets of their salary ranges. And when you bring people, new people, young people, the youth, at the entry level. So you'll actually create employment and half the wage bill. And that's the reason why I agree with Honorable Nita, we need to protect the board. Protection of the board to ensure that these recommendations which are being made here, it implements without a fallback. For us, this Honorable House is the approving authority. You are the people who approve that board. So you can be able to protect it in whichever way it is. 82 employees duplicated. What has made me a bit worried there is with different salaries. Some with different salaries. If you tell me an employee is appearing in Department of Labor earning 20,000 shillings, and the same employee is appearing in Department of Sports earning 25,000 shillings, then when you look at figures-wise per se, these are two different individuals getting two different salaries by the same person. Duplication of 82 employees means you take 192 and you add 82, because the 82 are duplicated. Then you are having close to 300 people whom we can easily be able to get out of the system and have the so-called ballooning wage bill and create employment for the youth, especially our youth. It is painful to see our youth suffering outside there without employment, and we have got about 200 people above 60 years and 82 others who are duplicated. Sincerely speaking, something needs to be done about that. On the issue of auto-renewal of contracts, a very key point which has been pointed out there. You don't renew contracts automatically after the expiry of a contract. Renewal is based on merit. Did you provide services as per the contract terms? Was there any performance appraisal done? So I can be able to say this person, yes, they have got, their contract can be renewed because they performed this way and they have these special skills which we require from them. But just renewing automatically 2,300 contracts, while the Human Resource Policies and Procedure Manual talks about 3 years, after which there has to be a review before you can be able to be renewed, it's all summed up by the fact that there is no organochart. Normally, in an organization where people are serious with what they are doing, they are supposed to do something we call resource optimization model, whereby you create an organochart of the positions required in an organization, and then you put people onto the organochart. Those who remain in a pool here, who are not in the organochart, you look for a way of making sure they get out of the system, either early retirement or other incentives. That is called a resource optimization model. You fit people to an organochart. You don't fit an organochart to people. You don't draw a chart based on the number of employees you have. If you have 100 employees, you don't now grow an organochart to fit in 100 employees because you are not optimizing the resource. You draw, you say, what do I require? I require 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then pick people from here and fit them there. Those who remain behind here are excess to requirement. And you look for ways of either deploying them elsewhere or getting rid of them. And therefore, it is important to say if such things were done, the constituency which is represented by Honorable Justice Katumo and Honorable Jacinda Luka Mwikali would be able to get the spaces it requires to be able to fill into those, because with an organochart where you are putting the organochart, it will have the provision by law of your people in that chart. And then you pick them and fix them there. But now we get lost in translation because you have got so many people and nobody even has an organochart and knows where we are coming or where we are going. Therefore, I believe that the House has passed this report and the Public Service Board, therefore, has 60 days within which it should be able to respond to this Honorable House on the issues which have been raised and on the recommendations which have been made by the Honorable Committee. With that, Honorable Members, the House is adjourned to resume again on Wednesday, the 18th day of August 2021 at 10 a.m. And remember, tomorrow is Bunge Mashinani. We will be meeting at Kangundo Central Board Kangundo Central Ward in a school called Kangundo DEB, District Education Board Primary School, right next to Kangundo Town, where Honorable Moses Mita hails from. Enjoy the rest of your evening, honorable members.
Take it